Hi everyone, it's Enoch Miller, your Empress West Hollywood, here with GayLifeLA.com and produced also by White Rabbit Partners. We want to thank you for tuning in today for this amazing day, and hopefully you all survived Halloween. It was so much fun, but oh my god, if you've not been to Halloween in West Hollywood, it is intense. It is like 200,000, almost 300,000 people all across Santa Monica Boulevard in this little strip area. It's so much fun, it's so intense, and such a great people watching experience. So if you didn't make it this year, tune in next year. It'll be such a blast. We want to welcome our amazing special guest, Ricky Rebel.
Hey guys.
Hi. I'm so excited to have you here today. And the great thing about, you're so young and have done so much in just a short period of time. Let's start a little bit at the very, very beginning. Little Ricky, way back in the day.
Baby Ricky.
You're San Bernardino originally.
Yeah.
And what was that like living in San Bernardino? Because it's a very beautiful area of California, and it's a luscious, and like you've got a little bit of wine country up in that area around you. What was it like for you being in San Bernardino and kind of that whole experience?
In the whole Upland area. That's where I grew up, in Upland.
Okay, in Upland. Okay.
So very inland empire.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice place to grow up. Just a very low-key town.
Right.
And I kind of had a dual life at the time growing up. I was in commercials right away.
Got it.
And auditioning back and forth with Hollywood, and I had like my suburban, life, and then I had the other life all happening at the same time.
And really, what was the hardest part about balancing a dual life? I've heard lots of people say it's like you're trying to give one face for one person, the other face for who you really are, and then something in the middle too sometimes. What was the hardest part in juggling that kind of dual lifestyle?
It was hard because my Hollywood friends were really into auditioning, and really into did you book that?
Mm-hmm.
Or, comparing, did you book that commercial?
So comparing audition notes, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, it was a very competitive world.
Got it.
Growing up, and I did book some movies at the time. I was in Austin Powers, the movie, and I did a couple of. I was in Anywhere But Here with Natalie Portman, and different commercials like for McDonald's and Target, and all nonstop working back and forth. And I would come back to my Upland school, and the kids would get jealous.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
The kids would get upset because they would hear that they would see me in a commercial or whatever, and it was kind of hard growing up. And then when I booked the boy band, I was in the boy band. They found out that I got signed to Sony,
right? And
that word spread fast on that.
I can imagine that. You were as No Authority was the boy band you were signed to, and we had a guest just last week, Brian Hahn, who's a model, and he said same thing with him when his first modeling gig went up at the Gap or whatever it was, and there's this big billboard right in the front of him standing there like in underwear and going to school, and having all his friends go like, what the hell, like, dude, like, this is like, okay, you're cool, you're a little famous now, but you're, like you said, they're totally jealous of you and you getting the success in this.
Yeah, there was of course there's like supporters, and all my friends that were supportive of me, they were very supportive, very like, oh, Ricky, pro Ricky.
Yeah.
But I definitely had a lot of enemies too.
Well, I can imagine. When was the point when you actually realized, oh my God, I've really made it in this industry, that it was not just like this is an everyday norm for me because this is just what I do, into where, oh my God, actually I've reached a level that really no one else can say they've reached. Few people can say they've reached this level.
Yeah, it was when I got signed to Michael Jackson's label. With Sony. That's when I really felt like all my hard work as a kid growing up, with all the dance classes and the singing classes and the acting classes and everything, really kind of led to something really substantial. Right. Getting signed.
And that was right around like the late 90s, early 2000s, like I think 98, 99, 97, 98, something like that.
Yeah.
That you got signed with Michael. And first and foremost, Michael frickin' Jackson. that is no little name there. And what was that whole experience when you guys had done your kind of recording, and then you'd send it off to Michael and his album president? Like, what was that experience when you got the reply back saying, we want you to be on the label and we want to sign you for the label? Like, were you like dumbstruck? Were you think someone was playing a prank? Was Ashton ready to shoot out of them? They come and prank you or anything like that?
Well, it felt like at first it was just that we were dealing with executives.
Oh, okay.
So they would say like, John O'Cohan, who was repping the record, he would come to the studio with us and hear us record, hear us sing live for them. And he's like, I think the president, Jerry Greenberg, is going to love you guys. So we were dealing with just names of
Got
labels
it,
of people that I never met before.
So titles,
and then like Michael was in the title as well.
Wow.
So it wasn't like at first that we knew. I didn't even know what Michael they were referring to. Oh,
right.
Michael wants to see you guys. He really wants to meet
You're
you.
like, oh, okay, it's the big boss. Like,
it's
okay,
just
cool.
one of the regular like.
And then it's Michael fucking Jackson.
It's Michael, bitch.
And what was like once the realization came and the daunting realization of like, oh my god, it's Michael Jackson wants our band to be signed to his label. What was that like initial reaction for you?
It was just all of my dreams that come true.
Yeah, I can totally imagine.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like you said, it's Michael bitch.
Michael bitch, and they wanted to make an album. And they wanted to put us in the studio with Ronnie Jerkins away.
So that just happened almost instantly with
It
Ronnie.
did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it started right away. We just went into the studio and started working.
And that's even amazing to me, the fact that it wasn't like you had to wait, and they were just like, oh no, let's do these other little things first and feel you out and then put you, like right off the bat, they put you through to that. That's pretty amazing.
They absolutely loved us.
Awesome.
The boy band I was in, they loved us.
And you guys didn't just do stuff with Michael. I mean, you did 98 Degrees, Destiny's Child, Aaron Carter, Ashley, and Jessica Simpson.
Okay.
I mean, you've done so much. And I mean, also, for anyone who doesn't know Rodney Jerkins, he's done Whitney Houston, Jennifer Lopez, Britney Spears. I mean, he is no small name either, which is why it's such a big deal that you were right off the bat working with him.
Yeah.
What was that initial first working with the label and being signed? What was that initial? Was it just like go 24/7, or were you just kind of like, all right, it's a slow and steady, and I feel like it's just building on top of each other?
At first, it was get in the studio.
Got it.
So we were literally living in the studio.
Got it.
We had to quit high school. I had to quit going to school because I didn't have time anymore to go to school.
No, you're
and do
there
that
like
at the
what,
same time.
12 plus hours a day easily.
Yeah. So I had to say goodbye to my friends in the Upland world and completely, go to the Hollywood world. And it was fun. I really love being in the studio.
Oh yeah.
I love recording. I love how hard it is. It's really difficult.
Oh well, yeah.
So it was really difficult for me at the time because I wasn't really too much into the R&B thing as much as they really, really wanted us to be.
Okay.
I was more of a pop guy,
Yeah, because that's honestly your style now. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not R&B. It's not hip hop. It's not. It's even not EDM really either. It's very much like pop, but a pop fun spin, where it's like a little retro but a little poppy, and it's like got that funky mix in there, which I really like. What really was the? Again, you're doing all this stuff with the band right before you actually start doing your solo career. What was that whole experience leading up to that point for you? Were you just kind of, I don't know if I'm going to do anything else but this, or were you like already in your head thinking, I wonder if I could do this by myself?
From the day one, I knew it. I wanted to be a solo.
You're like, I knew it. Okay.
And I let them know, the boys, which was kind of, I think, maybe a mistake. I let them know, like, hey, you guys, this is my plan. Like, I really want to be a solo artist. I want to be the male version of Madonna. And if you have a problem with it, this is period.
I'm sorry, it's my dream.
This is what I'm going to do. This is the reality. And I'm using this as a way to get there.
Got it.
And I want you to do the same.
See,
and I support you.
I like that,
your project.
You're honest from the get-go of letting them know, hey, here's my ambitions.
Yeah.
They can't really, I can see how they're not being happy about it, but again, they can't fault you for being honest and saying, hey, this is what my goal is.
And my goal was to make the group as famous as possible, as successful as possible. So I really cracked the whip in rehearsals.
Good.
I would tell the boys, we got to tighten up vocally, we got to rehearse. And I wasn't really well liked while in the band. I can tell you that right now.
Well, but honestly, though, that's the good thing. At least when you were there and 100% there, 110% it sounds like, of being there and being involved and wanting to do as much as you can when you were there in the moment. Talk about this transition of going from Ricky G to actually being Ricky Rebel and your solo career. What was that initial transition like for you?
Difficult, complex. The band, we reached a milestone of success with our song "Can't Get Your Number." It was on the radio, on Kiss FM, and everywhere else. And
that's with Ryan Seacrest, right?
Yeah.
The stuff with his
JoJo.
Oh, JoJo on the radio. Okay, JoJo on the radio.
We were the first ones to have JoJo bring in the fans.
Wow.
We had so many fans just waiting outside for us. He brought in all the fans.
Oh, that must have been fun.
It was so much fun.
It was hell but fun. Hell.
Yeah.
Because I've seen those before where they have fans come in the studios and sometimes you're trying to interview and you're trying to do stuff with them and they're like either banging on the window or like you can hear them just screaming and it's like distracting when you're trying to actually have a conversation, like think without all this background noise.
They're hysterical. They were hysterical. And I loved it.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, we later on, after Michael Jackson's label kind of, was going through some stuff, Madonna's record label came in and signed the band. And that was my ultimate goal of all goals.
Like you said, you wanted to be the male Madonna.
Yeah, she's my ultimate hero. It's Michael Madonna, but really Madonna.
Right.
So when we got signed to Madonna, that was like everything.
Did you lose your shit?
I lost my shit.
I would have lost my shit. Did you queen out a little bit? Because I would have been like,
oh, every day. I had to pinch myself every day.
So would you meet with her on a regular basis, or was she just like would pop up every now and then?
Yeah, just every now and then.
So she just would show up every now and be like, oh, just check out stuff, and then comes there. So were you able to work that day when she would come into the studio at all?
I got very nervous. I mean, my Madonna story is, before we were signed to her label, Ronnie Jerkins called us over to come to the studio. He called me up. He said, Ricky, get your butt over here right now. There's someone I really want you to meet. And I'm like, Ronnie is very serious right now. Normally he's just like playing with me. He's kind of a jokester, prankster type.
Got it.
So I knew it had to be somebody very important. So I walked in the studio and I just hear screaming like in the studio down the hall. I'm like, that's Madonna.
You're like, I know that. That's Madonna.
I know that screaming. And then my mom was so afraid of me to go outside because she was afraid that it was gonna ruin my ruin my love for Madonna. But really, that's who I love. I love that side of her. I love the bitchy side.
Well, and she does. I mean, my partner has funny stories of like he was wherever he was in his in the area in the building he was in New York. Her yoga studio was there, and he ran into her in the back stairwell one time, humming her new song that came out. She's like, "Good song, yeah," and he's like,
"Whoops,
yeah, no, it's great." No, he was humming, and she's like, "Good song, yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, like, your fucking song is great." So cool. And it's so bad because you do. I mean, I hear people time and time again say she's like, when she's hard, but that's how she's made what she's made today for herself.
Absolutely.
And so when you kind of were going into the stuff that you've done with Madonna and the label, and then also when you went with Britney on tour, what was that like doing tour life? Because I hear recording and doing the stuff in the studio all day is night and day compared to tour life.
So different.
So what do you feel was different. Like the most fun about it, and then the most like challenging part about touring?
Touring, the most fun thing about touring is every day it's a new adventure. Every day it's a new city. It's a new people. And the crowds are huge, so you're performing in front of screaming people.
Well, they're there for Britney, and I mean, she brings in half the country.
Yeah, and then they end up falling in love with you.
Right.
If you put on a good show.
Right.
And I remember hanging out with Justin Timberlake backstage, hanging out with Britney, hanging out with all of these. I know
I know, just the Justin.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to do this a little bit.
Especially back then.
Well, yeah.
It
was when he had the little curls.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He's very hairy, actually.
Really?
He's very big and hairy.
That's kind of surprising.
Tall. He's a lot taller than me.
See, and that's the funny thing, because it's like, it's always really daunting to see celebrities in person when you like see them on either TV on screen or anything like that, and you go and they're either really tall or really short compared to what you thought they were.
Isn't that funny?
And it's one or the other.
Yeah.
The only one I've ever thought was the same tallness as they were in real life, and it was RuPaul. Because I saw him in real life, and he's massive on picture, and he's massive in real life.
Just straight up massive.
He's just like 6'5", 6'6", and just like this tall, lean, just towering over you. Even when he's not in drag, it's just like, you just see this presence, you're like, oh, it's Mother Ru.
It's Mother Ru.
But, so, I mean, that whole touring, so that was the fun part of doing it out. What was the most challenging part of tour life?
Honestly, it was hard living with other boys.
Okay.
Boys that really wanted to party a lot.
Got it.
I love them if they're listening to this show. I love you guys tons, but you really were partying a lot. And it was too much for my taste.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I wanted to be famous. I wanted us to grow and become way big.
Yeah.
So that we really could party the real way.
Right.
Like go to Rio,
the fun stuff.
The real thing. Like, let's fly to Paris. Or, let's do real party.
Like the housewife shit where it's like, let's just go to Paris for the weekend. I'm bored. Let's just go do this. And, like, I totally see you wanted to have the lifestyle and your type of partying was the going out and doing stuff and having the experiences and the trips and all the fun stuff with that.
Travel is really my kind of party with friends.
Okay. That sounds like fun, though, because at the end, it's a group experience. It's a lot of fun, and you're not bored. Like you said, it's a new adventure every time with all that stuff.
Yeah, and you're experiencing it with the people you love.
Well, exactly. And so, okay, becoming Ricky Rebel, starting your solo career right after you did stuff with My Chemical Romance. They invited you to be on the tour with them. What was that like working? Because My Chemical Romance is a pretty big shift music-wise when it comes to Madonna, Michael Jackson, Britney Spears. I mean, My Chemical Romance, again, they're in the same... not even really in the same genre per se, but I mean, it's just a very big shift musically. How did you feel when you are doing songs or trying to come up with new ideas to kind of, you wanted to complement what they're doing, obviously.
Right.
How did you feel did it shift your musical standards a little bit, or how did you work that into, from being with like with the other stuff from before to My Chemical Romance?
Well, this is what happened. I was at a Pilates class, and this woman approached me, and she put this picture in front of me, and she said, "This is you. This is you right here." And it basically was the character Show Pony.
Oh.
And Gerard is looking for this character, and you are that character. Because I used to wear like leggings to class,
right,
and big old boots, and
right,
just total androgynous and whatever. And she brought me in to meet with him. They tried on the costume. They took a photo, and he's like, "I'm in love. You are the role. You know." So they cast me.
It's like, it's you, done. It
was like that total Hollywood story where you like just randomly get cast into something.
Wow.
And I just really loved working with him. I was in 2 of their music videos.
Okay.
I was in Na Na Na,
right,
and also Sing as a character called Show Pony.
Right. And then that was part of when you had also released your The Manipulator album, which featured the geisha dance, Get It On, You Need a Woman. And which I really like that one, and then MTV put your Good Vibes one out, all in that same time period as well.
Yeah.
With all of that, with you coming into your own with Ricky Rebel, what do you feel was like the coolest part about that whole experience going solo, and what was like the scariest part about it all? Because I mean, solo life is again, like you didn't really like the whole, I mean, being with a bunch of guys, it's again, that's a lot of, you're all shoved into sometimes small rooms and you kind of feel like you're all on top of each other.
It's democracy.
It was democracy. Oligarchy. It's like,
you know,
I'm the boss, does this, and this.
Well, it turned into that eventually.
Okay.
Once we got some of the people out of the band who were kind of like, a little more tyrannical, who wanted it their way and was able to convince the other boys, and then I was like the one. So if I said right, they said left. So it was very hard.
So Fidel. Got it. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I would actually do the opposite. I would say, okay, let's do this, and they would
do the opposite already, but without it be your way. Ooh, I like you already. Yeah. Nice. So what was really the most challenging part of going solo?
Let me count the ways.
What was I say?
Let me count the ways.
What was the most out of all of them?
I think just having confidence and trust in my production.
Okay.
In my ability to make music.
Got it.
On my own. Because I had been used to working with power producers.
Right.
My whole life.
Power something.
Right.
But okay, so you'd roosted like other people being able to really like show you the way. I mean, obviously staying true to you, but you were used to these people kind of like really kind of paving the way for you, and now it's all on you.
Yeah.
Basically.
And actually making the sounds and recording the beats and putting them into Pro Tools and playing the guitar. I picked up the guitar. I learned how to play the guitar in like a month. And I picked up Pro Tools, so just producing my own thing. That was, and having trust that I'm okay.
Yeah.
That I'm good enough.
Yeah.
To do that.
Oh, I've heard so many. We had to get Derek Jameson said the same thing where he's
Derek?
all he said the same thing where he's just like, knowing that what I put out there is great. I'm happy with it. I love it. No matter what other people say, I know it sounds good, and being confident that I know it sounds amazing.
That's right.
And that's hard.
Yeah, because it'll never be good enough for the artist, so we're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to be happy with it. But at the end of the day, if I'm happy with it, and it tells my story, and it says what I want to say, and it makes me move,
right.
And when I play it, the audience, has a reaction towards it, then I'm like, okay, I did my job.
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished, basically, on all of that. I love that. I'd like to shift over a little bit to your style and your aesthetic of Ricky Rebel. It's very fun. It's very like flashy and unique. and like you said, androgynous a little bit. I mean, you've mentioned before in articles that you have your holy trinity of inspirational individuals. Obviously Madonna, Prince, and then, oh gosh, I'm spacing on those. David Bowie. And it's honestly very, very much so, where it's like this whole, I mean, I see a little bit of the Madonna when it comes to like the face and everything up here. I see more of the Bowie when it comes to some of the looks, and then Prince is fucking everywhere on this.
He's everywhere. I know, he's everywhere. In my music especially.
Yeah, I would say your music for sure. It does that whole Prince vibe. Well, and also how you produce your videos. A lot of how you produce in some of the clips I've seen from some of your concerts. A lot of how you perform is very, very Prince-esque. Yeah. Of the fun, the flashy, the big brights, and like the moving all about.
Energy.
The energy for sure.
Energy. Mm-hmm. And I like to provoke. I like to do provocative things.
So how did you come into this persona that is, were you always like this as a child, or did it kind of evolve as you kind of got older and kind of were discovering who you were as an individual?
I am like, when I was a kid, I was a very shy guy, very quiet. But when it was showtime, I always like put it on.
Turned out.
Turn it out. You know, I'm still that little boy.
Got it.
But I think I've learned how to kind of mesh it a little bit better. That, you know, that dynamic person on stage, I'm trying to get that person closer to.
Got it.
To my day-to-day life. Because that person I am on stage is very, very bold. He's the alpha.
Oh, well, yeah. You're very, I mean, you're very forward and effervescent. Yeah.
He's strong. Like my dancers, like they say, like, dude, don't get near Ricky when he's performing because I am so aggressive.
They're intense.
You know, I'll grab the girl by the hair and I'll pull her down, and she's like, Ricky, she's like, please don't pull my hair too hard tonight.
Like, no promises, but
you know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, like, you know, it's always a.
But like you said, it's that passion, it's that intensity that honestly, I mean, translates into what your music is, and it's kind of, again, it's you, it's who you are. And I really like to talk about, too, because a lot of people have this issue with the LGBT community, that it's really just LGB, LG, and then B and T are kind of pushed off to the side, and being bisexual, a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this before, do not understand what bisexuality is. Personally, I had this whole concept of, like, I believed women could be bisexual because they connect to people on an emotional level, and men were just like, oh, it's physical, so they're either gay or straight. But really, it's not. It's so much more in-depth with that because, like stuff with you love who you love, and it doesn't matter whether it's guy or girl. So kind of give the people out there a really, what is your perception on who you love and why you love them, and why people shouldn't judge anyone that has these types of views, and stop saying like, oh, well, you're either gay or you're straight, and you're like, no,
or you're faking it.
Or you're faking it, exactly. What do you feel has been the hardest thing of really being true to you by expressing yourself?
I think that sexuality is a very complex thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you're honest about it, you know, you can kind of look into yourself when you might have looked at a girl in a certain way, if you're gay, where, you know, oh, damn. She's hot, you know, like, fuck.
Well, and you dated girls originally.
I dated women.
Uh-huh. Well, sorry, women. Not girls. Well, girls back in the day, but it's women,
girls
right?
and women, yeah. But, and I had an emotional and sexual relationship with these women. Mm-hmm. And I still, you know, still love women in that way. It's just right now I'm more towards the, you know, I have a relationship with a guy.
Right.
You know, and I think that the hardest thing about being in the middle is that people try to say that you're faking it. Right. Or, you know, you're only really one way or the other.
Right.
And it's just indicative of our tribalistic thinking in general in our culture. Is you're either right or left.
Yeah.
You're either black or white on issues.
Yeah. And we do compartmentalize our own community so much so to where it's just like, it just gets all these muddled little labels of you're this or you're that or you're not this or you're not that, and it really doesn't. I mean, someone can be something we've never heard of yet before. Like, just recently with everyone's talking about genderqueer non-conforming or non-binary. I mean, again, these new stuff that people are discovering day in and day out, that we're not just one way or the other. We're a rainbow of shit. I mean, there's so much involved.
Lots of gray.
And you can't, I mean, again, who are we to say what someone else feels? And I feel that's what a lot of people need to come to realize is we can't judge based on what someone else says. We need to take what they say at face value until they prove themselves otherwise.
I always say, like, oh, well, you're my sometimes girl.
You're my
boys
girl.
And sometimes girl. You be
well,
my sometimes
and
girl.
I like that because you did that song, Boys and Sometimes Girls, with the Blue album that you did, and it was a really fun and provocative way of poking a little bit at the whole, like, stop saying I can do what I want and not do what I want because this is what I like to do.
Yeah.
And fuck you for it. And it was a
you,
great tongue-in-cheek way to say, hey, this is who I am, I'm bisexual, take it or leave it, and fuck you.
Seriously.
And
yeah.
what was your favorite part about doing that video and doing that song to really express that part of you and really giving people an in-depth look into really who you are on just kind of how you identify?
It was great. I loved making the video.
Was it liberating a little bit, or?
Very.
Okay.
And actually a little vulnerable because...
I can see that.
It was vulnerable. Not because of the sexuality as far as like the boys and versus the girls or anything, but I think we got intimate with each other.
Right.
In the video. Video.
Oh yeah, they do.
We get intimate.
Oh yeah. And it's hot, by the way. Either one.
One of the girls in it was like 19 years old, and her butt is just right in my face. Mm-hmm. And she's like a new dancer of mine. She's like,
oh gosh.
She's like, is this what's a part of the...
Is this in my contract?
She's 19.
Oh my gosh.
And like, you know, but we had to get intimate with my dancers, whom I really love.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I felt so vulnerable about that, because I'm a very sexual, very physical guy. But on camera and in front of like producers and the director and the makeup company that is sponsoring it, Must Have Makeup, they were there, so I really wanted it to be great, but not too hot. But at the same time, the director wanted a lot of sexuality.
Oh,
so.
The director wanted it. That's all.
He wanted it. He wanted it.
And just like let's describe like the difference in between the straight crowd versus the LGBT crowd that are your fans, or the people that show up to your concerts, because I mean, it can be polarized on either end of the spectrum. What do you find is the most challenging aspect of dealing with a straight crowd, and then also the most challenging aspect dealing with an LGBT crowd?
Well, let me tell you, I just did an LGBT event, Halloweeny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Down here in downtown LA.
Yeah, and I performed with DJ Hector Fonseca.
I love He's amazeballs.
He's amazeballs,
yeah.
And he's remixed
he's done
3 of my songs.
I would say, yeah, he's done several years.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Star and Boys and Sometimes Girls and If You Were My Baby.
Got it. Okay.
And he invited me to perform with him.
Oh, awesome.
So I created like a 3-song like medley of Ricky Rebel songs with him. And we got up at 1:30 a.m. and everybody was there. Marco, every drag queen on the planet, Alyssa Edwards, and the best creme de la creme, like Courtney Act, the creme de la creme of drag, and everything else you could think of. And I get up on stage and I perform as Marie Antoinette.
And I'm so finding that video on YouTube later.
I'm living, but they're not living. You know, LGBT was not living because they were kind of drugged up. I see a sea of like
out of it.
I see a sea of this, and like they're not even coherent enough to.
We call them cocaine zombies. That's what it is.
I mean, is it cocaine or I don't know what it was.
All the above.
Was it K? I don't. It was just something very strong.
Got it.
But I did have some supporters, thank God, who were awake and alive. But I've noticed that sometimes when I perform, sometimes with LGBT, I hope that sometimes they get a little bit too.
Especially when you're later in the night.
They're
a little bit lit.
A little bit lit. And also when I do Pride festivals for LGBT, it's like kind of up and down. Like the more girls, let's just put it this way: the more girls that are there, the show's gonna be.
Oh, really?
Gonna work.
Got
be
it.
Hot. Girls love the whole fashion and the makeup thing.
Makes sense.
And I love my boys. I love my boys so much. I mean, I really care about the gay youth and boys and men in particular.
Right.
So I really do try to get them to be a part of this too.
Got it.
You know, get them to be like scream and get crazy and everything, and a lot of them do.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot of LGBT men are uncomfortable with supporting other LGBT singers, men.
Okay.
Because deep down inside, I think that we're just because we're men doesn't change the fact that we're gay. Doesn't really change the fact that, you know, men are very competitive. We can be very competitive. We can be very
macho.
Hey,
yeah.
like it's bro, but in the gay bro. It's
yeah.
like, well, he's too gay, bro.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But I suck dick.
Right.
But
it's that whole macho jock type.
He's a bot. You know, it's
yeah.
like this weird, like, there's that going on, but it's okay for him to love a drag queen, and it's okay for that type of person to love Madonna or Britney or Christina or even just in general. We gay men, we worship these women, and we can't stop talking about Mariah. We can't stop talking about you know, Christina and everything.
Exactly.
I mean, the numbers go on infinitely,
right?
Infinitely, whereas we can only count on our hands, like the LGBT guys that are out there that we actually really that we love, that we like.
Right.
I mean, Adam Lambert, Sam Smith, and, you know, Trey Sivan. Hopefully Ricky Rebel now that you're getting to know me.
Yeah. But still,
and other people,
it's a small group. It really is that you actually see legitimate support for.
Right, and I want to kind of ruin that. I want to dismantle all of that. I want to prove that, you know, that gay men in general support one another. It's kind of like what Madonna always says, that women don't really support other women.
Okay.
You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Or even Clinton was talking about that. That women don't. I kind of feel the same way about gay men supporting other gay men. I want more gay men to support other gay men.
Got it. No, that makes sense, and I totally get that because it is true, and I feel sometimes it's like they're, like you said, it's they don't want to be perceived that they're this way because they like the person that is a certain way, and then their friends are like, oh, well, are you like this queenie gay? And it's like, it doesn't matter if it looks queenie or is anything other than what it is. And honestly, I mean, it's whatever you like, and people shouldn't judge you for that. And that's what's so irritating is we get so labelistic, like I said before, on all these different things of you're either A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
And when you don't fit in the category, we lose our shit because we're like, boy, I'm not a this, I'm not a twink, I'm not a twunk, I'm not a bear, I'm not an otter, then what the fuck am I?
Yeah.
And then we lose our crap because we don't know where we belong in our own community when it really doesn't matter. Whoever,
whatever.
Why do you need a label?
There's so many labels.
Yeah.
It's like, cut the crap, like, let go of the labels, let them go. And I think my friend told me he came to that show, and he didn't come to the show, he heard about it, he saw the video. Yeah. And he was like, Ricky, what I've noticed about you, he's like, you're respected by gay men, but you just haven't, a lot of them haven't, like, taken you into their hearts. Like, do you know what I mean?
Got it.
There's that.
They respect your craft, they respect you as an artist, but when it actually comes to, like, really embracing you, got it.
Whereas women and straight,
all about the Ricky.
All about that. A lot of women just eat it up.
Got it.
Know, which is fine, because I think a part of me is I'm a rocker. I'm a rocker.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I think I'm a rock star, a rocker, more than I am like a Justin Bieber.
Right.
I'm very rebellious.
Oh God, no. You were so not a Bieber.
But you know what I'm saying? More than I am even a Trey Sivan or whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm more of a punk rocker in my heart. And that's why when I do, like, Marie Antoinette, or I try to do drag, it comes across more like Iggy Pop doing it.
I can see that. I mean, if I were to compare you to anyone nowadays that's an LGBT gay male artist, like, that's vaguely similar, it would be Ollie Alexander from Years and Years. I mean, you guys, you'll do some, like, you do fun stuff. You get out and do, like, crazy costumes, and you do, like, tons of fucking glitter, or, like, things that are just really pop and do stuff. That would be the only other artist I could see you being, like, similar. Like, you guys have a similar funky style, and that's, like, it's totally your own, and it's totally you, and it's, like, no one else has it. Other than that, you're right. Like, Troye Sivan is completely different. Sam Smith, I mean, they're all very specific to themselves. And I can see how it's really hard to, like, because you don't want to be mainstream. You want to be true to you and your aesthetic, but it's also like, hey, understand this is me, and I enjoy doing this, and this is what me do.
I love how you pulled hair behind you.
I cut it, and I'm so used to doing that. Sorry.
You pulled hair behind his ear, but there was nothing there.
The hair, that's not
so
there.
Cute.
I was wearing a wig last night. That's why.
Really?
I've got wig.
I
was Frankenfurter.
Oh, I love that.
Rocky Horror. I was having so much fun though. Yeah, but
he's the best.
I was just like, I have phantom hair syndrome right now, where it's like the wig's there. No, it's not. I forgot. And with music in general, going from when you first started in the late '90s to now, what do you feel has been the biggest shift in the music industries? Whether it's the type of music that's out there, or the production of it all, or anything like that. What do you think has been the biggest shift from then to now with just like within the last 15 years, really 10 years, maybe if that.
Right. The music industry died around.
It's dead.
It died. It literally died around 98.
Yeah, I can see.
Like when we got signed around
Yeah.
98, because people started pulling music and not paying for it.
Right.
So Napster started,
Right.
and people started burning CDs,
Right.
and it really hurt the industry in a big, massive way. Labels crumbled.
Oh yeah.
Artists stopped getting signed. Artists got dropped. We just heard every single day, oh, that person got dropped, that person got dropped, that person got dropped. Everybody was getting dropped. It was like, if you could imagine what the industry was, it was like a Western movie, like.
Oh my gosh, that was like.
It was a ghost town.
It was ghost town.
That was the music industry.
I love it.
And that's when I was trying to get meetings again, to try to be a solo artist again, and people didn't want to take my calls because they were only betting on acts. They still are.
Oh.
Proven acts that have already happened. That's why they keep on doing the safe route all the time. Corporate is.
We'll stick with what you know and what works, basically, is what they're doing. They don't want to take the risk of something new.
I'd rather do the 80th, like, Rolling Stone record than, like, a new up-and-coming...
Madonna's last tour, along with Cher's last tour.
Yeah, and they just keep redoing over and over again.
Right.
Which is their prerogative, but what changed in the music industry was now we have independent artists, now we have a way of distributing music to the masses with iTunes and CD Baby and... TuneCore and all these things, like the artists can actually take control of their own career and create their own labels, which is what I've done. I've created my own label called Rebel Mafia Records. So I'm interested in like meeting acts and like signing them, and geared more towards LGBT and people who love and support that. But yeah, I mean, we can create our own labels like that if you really want to. I mean, it's just accessible, everything.
And I think it's been really cool, the aspect of, like you said, accessibility nowadays, especially with things like YouTube now, with Vimeo, like where you actually can create a music video for a single, or at least just an EP, and like have just like certain little things that you can release out in chunks at a time, and really expand an album out over the course of a year or two, and really help still continuously boost either sales or boost recognition or boost just knowledge of what that album is for a long time. I think the person that's been the most brilliant at this has been like Melanie Martinez, who took her last album and has stretched that entire album out over the last year and a half.
Good.
And still just produced a new music video for it that people were like, oh my god, is this new stuff? And it's like, no, it's the same album.
Word.
But and again, I think artists are getting so creative now on how they release and put out content and get the things out there. And it's not like it was before. Before you do an album, you might have a couple of your top 3 that were like the big ones you do music video for, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have almost a video for every song, or you have something for every song, and it really kind of expands the brand out more than just I'm singing, I'm making an album, and I'm selling a track.
Right. There's a lot more freedom.
Oh yeah, and you guys have like a lot more liberty, yeah, for sure. And it's just so cool to see the new and creative ways that music artists like yourself put content out there and really engage our intention to make it like, oh, hey, this is new, this is fresh, this is fun, let's check this out. And I definitely think social media is really, God, I'm still fucking doing it. Now you said it, I'm self-conscious about it.
I know, yeah.
but it's like now we've really kind of taken the music industry to this unique level on a social aspect, instead of it just being like, here's this, it's mass produced, it's put out, go buy it at your local store and then be done with it. It's like, no, like you said, iTunes has expanded and all these different things. What would you say was been your biggest accomplishment out of this entire part of your career that you were just like, oh my god, this was like the biggest thing I've ever done or have done, that's really kind of was like kind of the icing on the very, very top?
2 things. Performing at the Cannes Film Festival.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
for a charity event.
That's a big deal.
I did that this year, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
One of the greatest trips of my life.
I can imagine.
Period. The show was amazing. I got to meet Akon. He was in the audience.
Wow.
He really loved the show. I did Boys and Sometimes Girls, and and If You Were My Baby, and that was incredible. An incredible experience. Number 2, one of the highlights of my career thus far as Ricky Rebel has been reaching number 28 on the Billboard Dance Club charts.
Which that is
boys.
no easy feat at all. I mean, that Billboard list is tight, and they are very, very selective. And being up anywhere above top 50, much less top 30, is a feat. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
For any advice you could give to any new and upcoming artist out there, that if you were, it was just like the one thing you could either tell yourself when you first started out, or you could tell someone when they first start out, what is the one thing you think either they should do or have prepared or work on that would really help push their career in a positive direction?
Well, the good news is we're living in a much more open society than we've ever been.
Right.
Much more embracing of LGBT.
Right.
So if you are LGBT, you don't have to worry about trying to hide yourself anymore, unless you don't have the courage to do so, which I don't recommend.
Yeah. Can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anyone else? Or how are you going to do anything else?
I would be honest about yourself.
Yeah.
That's number one. Be honest, because if you're in the closet and you're trying to be real with people and you're trying to do interviews, all of that's in the back of your mind. You're trying to act bro, you're trying to act straight or whatever. It's so nauseating and it's so boring.
It's like, much work.
It's too much work. Being fake is not the way to go. Try your best to be as authentic as possible. My advice also is to go with your own first vision of something.
Okay.
You have an idea of what you want to do. Go with that. Don't let big wigs in Hollywood try to tell you, oh, that's never going to work, because I had that so many times in my life where they would say, oh, you can't be this, you can't be gay, openly gay, you'll never make it. And you'll never make anything out of yourself. But I'm making
now.
Okay, I'm doing much better now as myself than I did when I was in the closet. Even the success that I had as a boy band, it didn't feel authentic because I was always faking everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't the music I wanted to do. It wasn't necessarily the vibe. It wasn't what I wanted to do. So go with your own gut. Go with your own vision and work your ass off.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, work. I mean, it's again, work. Always trust your instinct, and again, be true to you. It's the best advice you give. And honestly, when you're out there and afraid, just again, take it as it is. People are going to be mean and nasty. Welcome to reality. Just take it in stride and move on. Some great things you can also check out for coming up with Ricky here in the future. This Saturday. Sunday. Damn it, Sunday. Whatever the 5th is. This weekend, on the 5th of November, he's going to be having his new album release party for his newest album, The New Alpha, which was just released last night.
Yeah.
October 31st, so Halloween release.
Okay.
So it's 7 p.m. at the Mint. And it'll also be a fundraiser for Teen Cancer America, which is really amazing for that. And then you can also, coming up next on American Beauty Awards on November 18th, Novo at LA Live, and then the First Influencer Awards. Yep. And then also you can check out his tour dates for London, Manchester, and Camden from December 15th to the 21st. He'll be debuting in 5 different clubs, so you can go check that out at RickyRebelRocks.com. Get all the information there for all his tour dates, all his new release stuff. Check out that on YouTube as well for some of the different things seen with Ricky, and also his social media. We've been having all his stuff down on the lower third down there, so you can check out all his social sites. But thank you so much, Ricky, for coming and speaking to us today. It was so exciting to have you and to dive into the world that is Ricky Rebel.
Well, you're great interviewer. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you guys again. We also want to thank the reason that we're here today, our producers, GayLifeLA.com and White Rabbit Partners for making all this happen. We'll check in with you guys next week. Thanks so much. Bye.